What is going on, guys? Free Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the watch list. So going into earnings week, again, I will mention this will be a pretty short video because of how many stocks we have on our watch list, and there really isn't too much going on this week. So going into earnings though, there really isn't that much going on. The only companies that I'm really looking to really take a post earnings play perhaps would be maybe Target and CrowdStrike. Everything else doesn't seem really too viable to me, or maybe AVGO even going into Friday. That's a little bit sketchy there because you have post earnings volatility and then Friday volatility on top of that. So really, Target and CrowdStrike are really the only companies that I'm really looking to really take any advantage of any post earnings play if I see anything right there. But of course, everyone knows that I will bring that up in the Discord or WAP with stock hours and exclusively in there if there is anything presented with those stocks. So going into the watches low, I'm sure most of you guys are waiting on this. First things first is we'll talk about ES and NQ. So with ES, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that we sold off the last few couple of days. And then end day Friday, we actually ended up bouncing all the way back, all the way to 59.58. So if I put this on the daily, and both NQ and ES have a similar trend here, you guys can see that we have a 1 year uptrend that I would say we bounced off of it. So you can see we've had one rejection, two rejections, and the third time we actually ended up breaking through, and then we ended up closing back above and having a major bounce across the entire market. So realistically on ES, we're kind of in no man's land right now. So the only areas that I'm looking for are 60-20. So anything above 60-20, since that was the previous support and we respected that area on, looks like Wednesday, I'll be looking for anything above 60-20 for upside, or if we come back to the downside, I'll be looking at anything at 58.50. So it's a wide range, I know, but going from the weekend, going into Monday, anything can happen. Anything can gap up, anything can gap down, especially with Trump presidency. You guys know this. I always repeat this too. Anything can happen. So I always try to keep everything simple, and then once we get the pre-market time with the stock hours chat, then we'll talk about everything in there for you guys. So that's all I got for ES. NQ, it's the same story here. If I put this on the 1 year, 1 day, you guys can see that we have the same exact trend line. 1, 2, almost 3 right here, and then the fourth touch right here as well on NQ. So with NQ, pretty straightforward as well. I'm either looking at 21,400 to the upside. You can see that's the area we struggle to get above and hold over here in the last 3 days from Wednesday to Thursday, or I'll be looking at anything below 20,400 for more downside. So those are the areas I'll be keeping an eye out for NQ. Like I said, pretty simple, pretty straightforward with the areas that I'm looking at for NQ, and especially with that 1 year uptrend that I mentioned that both ES and NQ have. So that is something to keep an eye out for later on this week if we happen to come back to these lows. So first thing on my watch list, it is a Google, or as most of you know, best Googleito, what we like to call it in the chat. So as far as Google goes, you guys can see here already with where we're currently at. The low we made was around 166, 167. We bounced back to 170, but the real area that I'm looking to keep an eye out for on Google is over here. If you guys zoom in on the 4 hour or even the 1 year, 1 day, you can see that we had no strong closes below 165. So almost a similar setup to Microsoft. If you guys ever want to learn or educate yourself, go back to one of the watchlist videos, and then you guys will see what I'm talking about with Microsoft. It is the same exact setup, only it's on a different stock this time. This time, Google here, I'll be looking at 165 since we haven't had any strong closes below this, or we can look at it, take 164 as a safer entry since those are all the points and wicks of where most of our candles are rejecting from. 165, I say that because it's an area that we haven't closed below, and if we happen to get the right weakness or weakness sentiment with Google along with the market, this stock can really fall. So we saw it on Microsoft. It did it this week and the previous week, so it is something to keep an eye out for with Google going forward. And the last stock I have on my watch list, like I said, there isn't too much going on, so I'm keeping it pretty short, is Tesla. Tesla here really depends a lot with the market sentiment. Tesla's one of those stocks along with Meta. Sometimes Amazon, Apple can be a good contender about it. Nvidia as well, is a lot of the times when these stocks don't have any good setup. So for Tesla here, for example, since we're not really close to the lows, we're kind of just back to this 300 area. And you guys can see this 1 hour uptrend or downtrend that I will talk about. Is the nice thing about these stocks is a lot of the setups that we take on them in the stock hours chat can sometimes depend during pre-market or intraday. mainly because a lot of these stocks have good follow through and they have a lot of good divergence plays across the market. So, for example, if NQ and ES are really weak and Tesla is approaching 300, or this downtrend that we have here that breaks around 301 to 302, this could be a potential play on Tesla to take advantage of, because one, it's around a psychological level, and then two, you'd be breaking into, or it could always be a rejection as well. You would be breaking into the 300/302 area where this trend line is currently meeting. So it is something to keep an eye out for. So with the idea that I have a Tesla is I'd be looking at 300 with room up to 302. Obviously, going into Monday, this trend line would probably line up more around 300, so it would make it more of an even viable play to take advantage of, if, of course, Tesla is strong and ahead of the market. If it's kind of just moving with the market, it's kind of whatever, I probably won't look at it. But if this meets the right criteria or requirements that I need to take this trade to the upside, then it's something that I will be heavily interested on. So, but that is about it for the watch list, guys. Like I said, it is pretty short. I don't have anything on NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft. I have nothing on any of those stocks just because they are pretty dead. They're in no man's land right now, and they're not stocks that I want to recommend to anybody to look at because they're just in really bad spots right now. So, with that being said, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the watch list. Before you leave, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an awesome week. Peace out.